am calling the meeting to order at 5 p.m. The NVUSD Board of Education is holding a regular board meeting tonight, and we invite participation either remotely or in person. Directions on how to participate via Zoom are available at nvusd.org/board. The open session part of the meeting will begin at around 7 p.m. Before going into closed session, the board is available for public comment on closed session items. Mr. Michaels, do we have any public comment on closed session agenda items?
There are no public comments on closed session items.
Great. Seeing that there are none, the board will now adjourn into closed session. My name is Lisa Chu, and this is the NVUSD Board of Education. The NVUSD Board of Education is holding a regular board meeting tonight, and we invite participation either remotely or in person. Directions on how to participate via Zoom are available at nvusd.org. Interpretation in Spanish is available for tonight's virtual board meeting. Our interpreters are Francisco Mesa and Ashley Heil. One of the interpreters will now translate the directions on our English channel so our Spanish-speaking families may hear the instructions.
Sí, buenas tardes a todos. Esta es la reunión de la Junta del Distrito Escolar Unificado de Napa Valley. Hoy celebraremos una reunión ordinaria y les invitamos a participar remotamente o en persona. Las instrucciones sobre cómo participar a través de Zoom están disponibles en nvusd.org/BOARD. Para acceder a la interpretación, en un momento aparecerá en la parte baja de la pantalla en Zoom un símbolo del globo terráqueo. Por favor, vayan ahí y haga clic en Spanish o español y desde una tableta o teléfono móvil en Zoom busquen 3 puntitos que dice More o Más y también seleccione Language Interpretation o interpretación de idioma y después español y finalmente haga clic en Done o Listo para iniciar la interpretación simultánea. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we please start with an attendance roll call from Vera Morales, Executive Assistant?
Yes, Student Board Member Fish Leader,
Present.
Trustee Shu,
Present.
Trustee Jankowicz,
Present.
Trustee Martin,
Present.
Trustee Water,
Present.
quorum present. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight for our NVUSD board meeting. Item E1, report on closed session. Trustee Jankowicz, do you have a report on closed session agenda items?
I do. Report on closed session items, D1, student discipline, with respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to Ed Code 35146 and 48912, Government Section Code 49060 and 49078, and the Family Rights and Privacy Act, student matters. The board recommends for the readmission from expulsion of student 04102025A.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
First by Trustee Jankowicz, second by Trustee Water. Any public comment? Oh, no, we don't do public comment. It's a roll call vote.
Yes, Trustee Shu,
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz,
Aye.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Water.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Item E2, flag salute. I would like to invite.
Lisa, do we need to ask for a public comment on any?
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Yes. Flag salute. I would like to invite Ms. Deb St. Clair onto the podium to help us welcome in the school year as our teacher representative.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item E3, announcement. This meeting is live streamed and recorded via Zoom and will be archived on the district YouTube channel. For a detailed review of any meeting agenda item, the archive video can be referenced on the district's webpage at nvusd.org. The process for public comment can also be found on the district's webpage. Item E4, approval of agenda. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
First by trustee Jankowicz, second by trustee Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, item E5, approval of minutes. There are no record of minutes to be approved at this meeting. Item E6, recognition of visitors and employee organizations. Dr. Massetti, do we have any?
Yes, we do. As you know, we have the leadership of NVEA here this evening. We have President Deb St. Clair and our chief negotiator, Troy Giddings. Would you like to come to the podium and address the board? Yes. You.
Just want to say thank you for all of the wonderful things going on, especially around construction, and thank you to the voters of Napa. And it's so great to see all of the amazing work that's being done. So just really grateful about that, and just really looking forward to another great school year. And yay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, great. On to item F, recognition of students of the month. There are no students to be recognized at this meeting. Item G, public comment on non-agenda items. Trustee Jankowicz, did we receive any public comment on non-agenda items via email?
No public comment on non-agenda items were submitted via email at publiccomment@nvusd.org before 8 a.m. this morning.
Great. And I believe we have one in the boardroom. May I ask Kimberly Mangerger to come up to the podium?
And Ms. Manager, I'm going to go ahead and distribute to the board the document that you provided. So if you could pass this down, Vice President Chu.
Good evening. You may remember me from my visit in February meeting to discuss interdistrict transfer.
Well, hold on. If you could turn the mic on, just hit the button there. Do you see it there at the base?
Okay, I'll start over. So you may remember me.
Ms. Manager,
I'm
we
sorry.
have to make one announcement really
Okay.
quickly, so just hang tight, okay?
I apologize. This is my first meeting I'm leading.
She's the Vice
been there.
President stepping in today, so.
So before I open the floor to public comment on non-agenda items, I would like to explain the rules that govern this area of the meeting. The Brown Act open meeting laws under which we are required to operate prohibit board members from discussing items that you may bring up that are not on our current agenda. The reason for this legal restriction is to make sure that anyone who has an interest in a particular district business matter knows through the board's posted agenda when we will be discussing it as a board, so that they may also be present and provide input on the item. We're very happy to have you here to let us know your concerns. Please know that while we cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda, we are listening to your voices, and we expect and know that our staff will follow up with us on issues raised by members of our community. Relevant to the remainder of the board agenda, please understand that the board listens and considers public comment on agendized items during our meeting. However, public comment is not intended to be a two-way dialogue between the public and board members and/or staff, and therefore trustees will not respond to individual comments. This is in accordance with our meeting procedures. We invite members of the public to provide input via public comment per our board bylaw 9323 regarding meeting agenda items. We welcome and appreciate the public's engagement and input. In sum, please know that your voice matters and makes a difference. Your public comment on agendized items might be referenced during our discussions and will be considered as we make decisions regarding agendized items. Okay, great. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So you may remember me from my visit here in February to discuss the interdistrict transfer process regarding my son Connor and his entry into TK this year. At the time, we were waitlisted for Pueblo Vista and Napa Valley Language Academy, but enrolled in McPherson, which we were never going to attend. I was grateful we were reassigned to West Park, thank you, doctor, and continued on the wait list at PV and NVLA. We didn't get into either, which is life, and we've begun the school year at West Park. So you might imagine my surprise and anger, honestly, when I learned that a friend who has also applied for an interdistrict transfer and been ranked behind my son Connor in VLA was offered a spot last week because 2 students had dropped. Like us, they do not live in the neighborhood and they have no older siblings. Around the end of July, I saw that Connor had been withdrawn from the wait list at Pueblo Vista, and I called the enrollment department to inquire why. At the time, I was informed there was no movement, so the director was canceling the list, and I would soon see Connor withdrawn from NVLA as well. I pointed out I had been told repeatedly by principals, other parents, etc., that movement is unpredictable and spots often open up even at weeks into the school year. I inquired what would happen to those spots and was told that there was no movement and the lists were canceled. Upon learning of being bypassed, I reached out to Susan Miller, Director of Enrollment and Accountability. I've included the chain email thread for you copies of that for you. Her simple answer is the wait list expired, the classes are at capacity, and she will keep me in mind if space opens up. This is an incompetent response. Setting aside the only information I received about the expiring wait list was when I had called in. Clearly these lists are not expired since they are reaching out to students who were on them. I want to know why they are not working in the order the students were ranked for the last 8 months. I want to know how the students are being selected for openings. Clearly, whomever is administering the process has put aside the random digital assignment. This cherry picking undermines the whole process. There is nothing fair nor transparent about this. What criteria is being used? Is it by last name or eye color? Since my friend is enrolled in a private school, I suspect this is probably about recruiting pupils from outside the current NVUSD enrollment and for these coveted spots to get more funding from the state. I shouldn't have to tell you that this is disgraceful and a disservice to the enrolled families. As board members, you are our representatives to the district. I'd like to see some action and leadership on this issue from you.
Thank you.
Great. And Ms., am I saying it right, Manager?
Manager, yes.
Okay. Ms. Manager, I'm going to have Ms. Miller, a staff, reach out and schedule a meeting with you. Okay. So you can have a meeting with her and clarify the issue.
Again, I think that it looks like a corrupt system. I mean, I don't expect a child to be yanked from the school. I just want to know where's the transparency.
Ms. Manager, I'm going to have to.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate discuss the issue here, but she will follow up and have a meeting with you. Okay, and then I'll ask for a briefing on that, and we'll work from there. Okay. Thanks. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Michaels, is there any public comment on non-agenda items online?
Yes, we do have one public comment. Norma Ortiz. Ms. Ortiz, go ahead, please.
Hello, NVUSD board members, President Chu, student representative, and the Napa Valley community as a whole. My name is Norma Ortiz. I am a community member, student advocate and activist, a parent of an 11th grader, and a family member of other students attending Napa High School. My daughter Norma is enrolled and benefits from electives such as jazz, dance, and strings, plays the violin offered through the dance and music department, respectively, both at Napa High School. Mr. Riendo and Ms. Holly, director of the program, and her daughter, Ms. Pippert, make these programs a great addition to my daughter's schedule, where she thrives. As already indicated, and following my June 26, 2025 public comment, in summary, there are changes for performing arts at NVUSD for the present academic school year 2025-2026. Teachers must pay fees every time they use the Evans Auditorium. Staff currently raise funds and get donations to purchase basics such as sheet music and other that are needed, not the district. This practice will limit the use of the Evans Auditorium for performances of this nature, not just for my student, but also for many others who enjoy them. Teachers and booster clubs can't afford additional charges, plus the loss of funds from ticket sales if performances are only held on weeknights. and additional costs for the use of the Evans Auditorium. In other words, pay for play. This is not equitable nor inclusive practice, given that schools at NVUSD are publicly funded and education and the benefits that come with it, in this case, should be free and provided at no cost for students. This district is not in bankruptcy nor in poverty to be doing this. Your parent square of August 20th, 2025 indicated that we are economically stable. I do not support nor think it is fair that the district charges fees for the use of the Evans Auditorium, which is my understanding that was renovated from bond funds. The community did not intend for the district to rent out the auditorium to the highest outside bidder while keeping students from performing on stage on weekends. Many students won't be able to perform if performances are only on weeknights, as they participate in sports as well in performing arts. Many parents won't be able to see their students perform because they work on weeknights. My questions are, how much money will be raised by renting the auditorium to outside groups on weekends? Why is the district going to charge these fees? In addition, why has the district leadership not informed students and families in their newsletters, nor provided an explanation? What is our financial reserve? I please ask that the superintendent provide a direct answer to my questions in a timely manner. And if she doesn't, I will approach the board. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Ms. Ortiz, thank you for bringing forth your comment again that you shared with us in June. I had requested for Dr. Reddy to follow up with you, which she did, but she said that she did not receive a response. So I'm going to ask that Dr. Reddy, you once again reach out to Ms. Ortiz and explain our policy shift and change that we've worked on with our VAPA teachers so that some of her questions could be answered. Thank you.
Mr. Michaels, are there any other comments?
There is no further public comment on non-agenda items.
Great, thank you. Now we're on to agenda item H, reports. H1, Board of Education and Student Board Representative. Student Board Member Fish Leader, do you have your report?
I do. Thank you everybody for coming tonight and good evening. I am Hudson Fish Leader, for those who do not know, and I know the first school week has just officially concluded and we're on, I think, the 8th day, but I still do have a little bit to report. I want to start by commending the STARS Network program. I spoke with Trustee Chu a few minutes ago, actually, and I know her son went to Vanderbilt, but I also spoke to a few sophomores, juniors, and seniors who attended Chicago. They loved it, and I'm really excited to see what STARS will do this year. Additionally, I know not every student is looking forward to going to college, so I've spoken to a few who attended the NAPA mentorship over the summer, and they really enjoyed it, and I'm looking to see what else we can do in the community. Across the valley, some of our seniors prepare for their senior sunrise. I know American Canyon and Napa have theirs tomorrow morning, so good luck to them. And I attended mine last weekend on August 15th. It was great. We shared donuts and coffee and watched the sunrise over by the Napa Crusher. And I think it was a realization for a lot of seniors that their time in the past 4 years have been impactful. On August 16th, I was appointed the communications manager at Mentis Leadership Teen Council. There, I'm looking forward to communicating whatever I find here and what I learn here to them. I am sad to announce, though, that Jenny Olson, the director, has left. She will be focusing on her future and what comes next. However, I am happy to announce that Alyssa Green will be taking her spot. I'm super excited to work with her, along with the countless other students who have amazing pathways and have amazing, driven mindsets. And I'm excited to hear what she has to say. This concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Trustee Water?
Okay, well, welcome everyone. It's great to be here. And I enjoyed the welcome back right outside here last week. And I believe I'm going to allow Trustee Jankowicz to wax eloquent on what a wonderful day it was. But yes, indeed, we were all very happy because of the bond work that had been done over the summer. I also went to, at Fuller Park last Thursday, to a peace vigil that was put on by lots of local people, including many people who are teachers or were teachers. And let's see, also this Tuesday, I attended a youth civics leader and League of Women Voters Zoom meeting. Several of these students are from our high schools. Let's see, and I had a great time this week doing sort of a blitz, visiting schools and principals and giving them goodie bags. And I see Principal Montgomery from Shearer School in the audience. That was my first stop, my neighborhood school 2 blocks away. And, you know, on the way in, I saw this darling little girl with her father, and he was walking her into her TK. You know, she was just beginning TK with us. And I was thinking, you know, both of my children went to Shearer, and I was thinking it's great to see another generation of Shearer students, because it is, you know, one of our older schools. And also that day I went to see Principal Valerga at Silverado, and, you know, it's not a hit and run there. You always have to go in and sit down and meet with her student ambassadors, 4 delightful young people who are, they have a lot of great news to tell us, and I think they're going to be making an appearance at a future board meeting. But I just want to say that they were super proud to be featured on the front page of the Press Democrat, a big positive story about Silverado and the rest of our schools and the bond work. And then I ran over to McPherson. Principal Phillips welcomed me there, and she was meeting with her leadership team. And, you know, they were very excited about the big improvement in their reading scores. And really, and when they told me about it, I was excited too. So that was fun, more positivity. And then I went to see New Tech. Principal Dev is clearly in the right place. He's always very upbeat. And he was excited about the early college program, which is in its 2nd year. And let's see, that was 4 schools. The next day, I went to see Principal Ainsworth at Napa High, my old stomping grounds. And it was really great because, you know, the internet was down all over the place yesterday. And he knew that made me really happy. And all the teachers that I used to work with they were rolling with it. They were not having any trouble at all. And his picture, we took our picture, you know, the handover of the goodie bag in front of this enormous heroic portrait that is an homage to Jacques Louis David, and it's modeled on Napoleon crossing the Alps. Only in this case, it's Principal Ainsworth on a grizzly bear, and it's just so funny. And it was painted by Liliana Karish and several of her friends, so who've been to our, who I know quite well, and it was just a riot. And I was so glad to see that, you know, people have a sense of humor still. And all in all, it's a positive beginning to the school year. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Trustee Martin?
Well, I saw all of the festivities that we're having on my email, but unfortunately I had my own beginning of the year festivities that I had to deal with at my school, so I'm very sad that I wasn't able to participate. But I think I've got some selfies for the board takeover, the NVUSD social media. But I did listen with enthusiasm to the first installment of NVUSD's podcast, Future in Focus. This week's topic was artificial intelligence, friend or foe. And if you haven't listened to it yet, there were 2 main points that were made that I thought were really insightful. First of all, AI is not going to replace a teacher, because and I know that from my own experience, like there's a connection that a teacher has with a student that involves vulnerability and trust with that student that can't be replaced by a machine that creates words. It can't happen. The second thing, this was never mentioned, this was never said obliquely, but there was a lot of talk about security. But I think in my own experience with my own students and with my experience in AI, we really need to protect our students from this new technology and make sure they're exposed to it very gently and conscientiously. Because, I'll because it's extremely powerful, and it could either empower you, like it's empowering me as a teacher, or it could destroy you. And I don't want to see that for my students. So I just want to give you an example of how I've used it. Do you know Vital Farms eggs? Yeah. They have a little newsletter in their egg crate, in their egg card. And I read it last night and I was like, I would love for my students to read this because it talks about having respect for animals. It talks about knowing where your food comes from. And it talks about having like industry standards for our food. And so I took the text, I put it into ChatGPT, and I told GPT, create 5 short reading comprehension questions that reflect the Common Core State standards and are in the style of the CASP test. And in seconds, it spit it out. And it was like, there's no way I could come up with that. There's no way I could read that and come up with that. It knows the Common Core standards much better than me. It knows CASP way better than me. And so it's just an extraordinarily powerful tool that makes my teaching all the more focused and all the more strategic. So I'm very, very excited, but one of the things that I'm doing for my students is making sure that they're educated so that when they encounter it, they know how to use it conscientiously and correctly, and it empowers them and it doesn't ruin their lives. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Jankowicz?
I too attended the NVUSD Napa Welcome Back for All Employees, and I always enjoy attending, but this year felt different. Listening to Dr. Massetti address what we have done and what we have to look forward to really put the last 8 years in perspective. We have addressed many challenges over the years, and our community is now reaping the benefit of that work. It's all the things. It's financial security. It is our ability to be proactive in this environment and not reactive. It is the passage of the bond, the facilities work that was accomplished, and genuine anticipation of the work still to come. Our strong start to the school year sets the tone for students and for community confidence. All the work that has been executed over the last 8 years has created the momentum for student learning, academic success, fiscal health, operational effectiveness, creating stability and trust that will carry us through the 25-26 school year and beyond. It is going to be a really good year. Like my fellow colleagues, I got to witness firsthand the positive energy on campuses during the first week of school. The kids were energized and excited, and so were site staff and teachers. The one constant was the feeling of pride from each site principal. It was genuine and it was contagious. I was delighted to meet Principal Cruz, the new principal of Unidos Middle School. I'm excited for her leadership in advancing the bilingual experience and excellence, and welcome to NVUSD. I had the pleasure of spending a bit of time with Principal Title at Bel Air Magnet School. Quick story, I ran into, I had to go run an errand. I noticed and recognized a woman that I had seen bring her daughter to Bel Air. And she said, and I, stopped to talk to her and said, hey, hello, introduced myself. And she explained to me that she had such a good experience at Bel Air as a student X amount of years ago, that when they purchased their home, they purchased it in that neighborhood so that her daughter could too attend Bel Air. I thought that was a great story. I then moved on to Redwood, where I got to sit down with Principal Hartneck, and we had a really, really good conversation about the importance of community and school culture. Principal Hutchinson at Vintage was immersed in her day by the time I arrived, and watching a principal in action is humbling. I have a great deal of respect and gratitude for the work they do on behalf of our students. And I ended my visits with Vichy Elementary, where Principal Zickman, who has so much energy, gave me a whirlwind tour. There's a new flower garden in front of the school. They have the most amazing vegetable garden where the kids nurture and harvest the bounty in order to have a farmer's market and donate the funds to the community. I got to peek into classrooms and watch Ms. Housley teach the first 6th grade class of our new K-8 program. It was great. It was a wonderful way to conclude my day. And it's also a great example of how we have created educational opportunities for students and their families. I hope everyone had a moment to listen to our new series, Future in Focus. The first podcast featured our very own Jordan Michaels, Ashley Green, and Peter Aboud, and of course, Dr. Massetti. It was well done, it was informative, it was relevant, and it was necessary. I will also say that Mr. Michaels assisted me yet again with yet another tech issue, and to say he magically fixed all of the problems is an accurate statement. And I really do want to express thanks to the best tech department in the state of California. You do not go unnoticed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. So I started out last week welcoming back employees at ACHS. I also had a very similar feeling of, I guess, a renewed energy, right, of everything that to look forward to as the district is stable and able to do what we really are here to do. So very grateful for that space to share with all of our employees. I, of course, have children in the school district, so we did the hustle and bustle of the first day of school. And also on the first day of school, in the evening, I went to Meet Me in the Streets, and I met with NCOE trustee Cindy Biederman, and as we welcomed NCOE County Superintendent, the new County Superintendent, Josh Schultz, to our community, and kind of toured him around the community and introduced him to a lot of our families, just so he can understand what our community is like. On the 14th, I attended ACMS Back to School Night. Wonderful to, of course, reconnect with all of our teachers on a parent level. So that was always fun, and look forward to what my kids will bring back to show me at the end of the day. And then this Tuesday, I visited all 5 American Canyon schools to welcome back the principals. So thank you to Principals Hatton, Vasquez, De La Mater, James, and of course our new ACMS principal, Principal Howard. I would say that my best experience of the visit was being approached by a first or second grader asking me if I was new to the school. And I really wanted to say, yes, can you be my friend? Of course, I was, trying to move along, but it just really grounds us when we get to interact with children and our students in this way, and just grateful for the opportunity to have been there and to experience that. And that concludes my report. So we will move on to item H2, Board Representative Reports, H2A. Special Education Community Advisory Committee, Trustee Hart is not here, but I know they have not met. H2B, City of American Canyon Liaison Representative, and we have not met. And H2C, City of Napa Liaison Representative, have you met?
We have not met.
Great, okay. And now on to H3, Superintendent and Executive Staff Report.
Thank you, Vice President Chu. So good evening, NVUSD trustees, staff, and community. My report this evening will be pretty brief, but mostly extremely positive. I want to reiterate the positivity that the trustees have elevated through their reports. And as I begin my 8th year as superintendent here in NVUSD, I can confidently say that this has been the best school opening of them all. With nearly half of our schools undergoing renovations this summer, thanks to Measure B in the city of Napa and Measure A2 in the city of American Canyon, our campuses are being transformed into safer, more modern spaces that truly invite students to learn, thrive, and succeed. These upgrades represent our NVUSD core value and unwavering commitment to excellence, and bring to life Strategy 14 of our strategic plan, improving and maintaining our facilities. We are deeply grateful to our communities for supporting these school bonds, and we remain committed to putting every local dollar to effective and efficient use. This week, I also began my first round of school visits, and the energy on our campuses has been absolutely inspiring. Students are very calm, focused, and engaged, while staff are enthusiastic and ready to build on last year's successes. Another of our new core values, a culture of future-ready innovation, was on display as we launched the Centegix Crisis Alert System district-wide, this badge here that we all wear all the time. I wanted to thank our technology team that Trustee Jankwit so eloquently recognized, but also our student services team, the principals, the assistant principals, and office managers across the district for ensuring a very smooth rollout of this critical new safety initiative. This work directly aligns with Strategy 7 of our plan, developing a comprehensive approach to school and district safety. So it's just fantastic to see our strategic plan come alive right out the gate as we open our schools for the 25-26 school year. I want to also extend my sincere gratitude to our trustees for visiting all 26 of our schools. Over the years, our governance team has explored ways to deepen trustees' meaningful engagement with our schools and our community. Strategy 11, again, of our strategic plan is creating a board engagement and communication strategy. This was a direct call to action to think about creative ways to connect the board members to our school communities. Your decision to spend time with our principals and their teams at the start of the year sent a powerful message of support from the boardroom to our school campuses. These visits were not only well received, as I've talked to so many principals about them, but they were truly appreciated across the district. It's also been inspiring to see the story of your engagement shared on our social media channels, reinforcing for our community how deeply the school board here cares about our schools and their success. With safer facilities, stronger systems, and an engaged school board, and the dedication of our outstanding teachers and support staff, we are well positioned to ensure a year filled with educational excellence and enrichment for every NVUSD student. So I'm really looking forward to having an amazing 25-26 school year. I also just want to add that yesterday, when I was reviewing email, I received a message from one of our seniors who is now at San Jose State, Betsaida Salgado Martinez, who participated on our student advisory. And it was really, it brought me to tears last night, and I just want to share it on the public record. She said, "Hi, Dr. Musetti. I hope the school year is treating you well and everything is going well and you're off to a good start. I just wanted to send this as a sort of gratitude to you. First and foremost, I want to thank you for the student advisories in NVUSD. They were honestly very helpful and insightful. I love the opportunity of input we had. I really do hope you all get the opportunity to hold the career fair that we planned. Remember that, Dr. Reddy? And hold more 8th grade advisories across the district. Honestly, that whole program was super fun, and I enjoyed meeting students from other schools and staff members from all over the district. Second, I honestly had no motivation to go to college or continue school after I graduated, but I saw you as an inspiration. You are so empowering and you have a determined vibe. When I first met you, I knew you meant business. LOL. You do so much for NVUSD School District, and I'm forever blessed to have looked up to you. And although I don't plan on being a teacher or any of that sort, your words of encouragement really motivate me even now to keep working harder and being more open to talking in discussions. Lastly, if there's any kind of events, podcasts, videos, meetings, anything really that I could participate in NVUSD, even through Zoom, I would love the opportunity to do so. I'm now living in San Jose, so I would have to know at least a week in advance to plan accordingly. So keep that in mind. So thank you so much for everything, Betsaida Salgado Martinez. So I just felt that was a moving message. We ended last school year with so many student leaders. I want to thank Dr. Reddy and her team who played an influential role in developing and designing the student advisories. And a big piece of our strategic plan was centering student voice. And her message was just a piece of evidence for me what happens when we do that. We underestimate the impact it has when students feel empowered in the way that she expressed. So thank you so much for allowing me the time to share that as part of my positive report for the 25-26 school year. With that, I'm going to toss to the assistant superintendents, and we're going to start with Assistant Superintendent Dana Page, who oversees the Human Resources Division.
Thank you. Good evening, President Chu, Board of Trustees, Student Board Representative Fish Leader, and Dr. Musetti. As we begin the new school year, I wanted to take a moment to focus on our classified staff. Whether it was preparing school sites, ensuring they were clean and safe, providing nutritious first-day meals, or greeting students with a warm smile, each of them played an important role in creating a positive start to the year. It was a joy to visit several sites myself on the first day and I look forward to continuing those visits as the year goes on. I want to thank our classified staff for the dedication and care they bring to supporting our students every day. Our dedicated HR team worked tirelessly over the summer to help meet our hiring goals. I am pleased to share our classified hiring report, which includes 25 new hires since July 1st, including 15 instructional support staff, 1 occupational therapist, a swing custodian, 4 clerical staff, 1 landscape and ground staff member, a school bus driver, and 2 cafe associates. This important work continues by our incredible HR technicians, Nancy Crane, Ellie Peña-Tamayo, and Amanda Rosas, as we fill additional vacancies and continuing to ensure that our schools have the support they need for student success. I also want to thank our department directors for welcoming back our classified staff and providing valuable back-to-school training. On Tuesday, August 12th, our special education department coordinated 2 specialized training sessions focused on staff and student safety for 156 paraeducators, which includes instructional assistants and independence facilitators. UC Berkeley's School Action for Safety and Health program provided a workshop entitled Training and Preventing Injuries from Student Behaviors. The purpose of this training is to reduce work-related injuries and illnesses among our school employees. Additionally, 28 independence facilitators participated in crisis prevention intervention training, which equips staff with strategies to safely handle difficult or crisis situations. On August 8th, our transportation department provided annual training for 32 school bus drivers and staff, reviewing transportation policies, procedures, and safety practices. On July 22nd, the maintenance and operations department held summer scissor lift training for 25 employees. On August 8th, our food service department hosted its annual back-to-school training at the Central Kitchen for 66 employees. The training covered food safety, testing new recipes and menu items, reviewing professional standards and department goals, and celebrating the 2.5 million meals served last year. The technology department trained 10 team members on forklift and scissor lift safety and provided ladder and lifting safety training for 25 staff members. On August 7th, 31 office managers and administrative assistants attended sessions covering data confirmation, fiscal services updates, enrollment procedures, visitor protocols, and Centegics. Finally, our custodial team, who worked hard all summer to prepare school sites, in the coming weeks, they will participate in Step Up as leaders for training for our head custodians, followed next month by equipment use training for all custodians. Overall, our classified department managers provided summer training for more than 373 classified employees. Thank you again for your hard work, teamwork, and dedication to creating the best possible start to the school year. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Page, for that thorough report. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Monica Reddy, who oversees instructional support services.
Good evening, Vice President Chu, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Musetti, Student Board Member Fish Leader, and NVUSD community. I'm grateful and excited to share that NVUSD experienced a positive and successful opening of schools this year. Over the past 2 weeks, I've thoroughly enjoyed visiting campuses and feeling the energy of a new school year as students entered upgraded facilities, met their teachers, connected with classmates, and engaged with each school's vision. On the first day of school, I joined Vintage High School students for lunch and witnessed the amazing administrative team and campus safety specialists helping the newest crushers find their way to class on time. At Redwood Middle School, I saw our 6th graders in action as they began their middle school journey. I especially appreciated joining them in math games on the first day of school. It was exciting to hear the latest updates to the early college program at New Tech High School from Principal Deb, now entering its 2nd year with college classes beginning next week. Thank you to the Pueblo Vista Magnet Elementary School Principal Helen Roca and Napa High School Principal Dr. Ian Ainsworth for showing me the full spectrum of our dual language immersion pathway. I visited TK and kindergarten classrooms where our talented teachers are helping our youngest learners transition smoothly into their new school community where their dual language journey is just beginning. I did see TKers learn how to go down the slide, and I was tempted, but I did not go down the slide. I then visited Napa High School and observed 11th and 12th grade DLI students in their Spanish classes, where year after year our students are achieving a 99% pass rate on their AP Spanish language exams. Across all these visits, it was clear that our principals are starting the year with a strong focus on instruction and welcoming and inclusive schools. Teachers are collaborating in professional learning communities and supporting rigorous learning. Thank you to our instructional team, site leaders, and educators for supporting this focus and for helping to ensure such a strong launch to the school year. And I look forward to continuing to visiting sites across the district in the weeks ahead. In addition to the strong start, we're also beginning the year with new tools and initiatives that will further advance student success. NVUSD has launched M-Class, a reading difficulty screener to strengthen our early literacy efforts. I want to thank our prevention and intervention team for supporting the training of all kindergarten through second grade teachers over the past 3 weeks in preparation for the rollout of the state-mandated reading risk screener. We are using DIBELS. Beginning in the 3rd week of school, this tool will provide timely data to identify students in need of early literacy intervention, ensuring they are supported from the very start. Thank you to our teachers for their ongoing commitment to ensuring valid assessment, research-based literacy instruction, and early literacy intervention for our youngest learners. And finally, 25-26 will also be a year to elevate the voices of our multilingual learners. Dr. Uribe, in her new role as the Director of MLL Services and Parent Engagement, has begun a comprehensive data review focused on our long-term English language learners at the secondary level. She's collaborating with Dr. Abood to examine current ELD course offerings, enrollment patterns, and convene focus groups of students to gain deeper insight into the successes and challenges that our long-term English language learners face in their education. These efforts will guide us in creating meaningful opportunities that advance the success of our multilingual learners, both within our system and beyond. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. And next and last, we have Assistant Superintendent Rob Manguala, who oversees business and operational services.
Thank you for the opportunity to update the board and the community. Tonight's update will focus on summer construction. During the past summer, we successfully updated exterior campuses, modifying them at 11 school sites. The amount of work completed and the quality of the work was exceptional. HVAC, roofing, paint, path of travel, and lots and lots of blacktop was completed. Also, Redwood Middle School's back parking lot was finally paved, and I say finally, it's been a long time in the works. Prior to this work, families literally needed to drive carefully, choose a careful path to navigate around, which we call the reverse speed bumps. So a reverse speed bump is a big pothole. So if you get a chance, I encourage you to drive out there and take a look at the new parking lot and the exceptional work that the grounds department also completed this summer. They were really busy this summer. They completely rebuilt Raiders Field after a season of very heavy usage. It looks, it's very green. It looks exceptional. We transitioned from summer construction straight into planning for summer 2026. We've had a number of meetings with architects and are getting ready to publish RFPs for our leaseback contractors for summer construction. Our intent is to also just get this stuff out as early as possible, like we did the prior year. And speaking with some of the architects, we're definitely ahead of a lot of districts, and we hope to get really good pricing again by going early. The success of this work was due to a number of factors, including our incredible construction management firm, Van Pelt. Their partnership, planning, oversight, and expertise can't be overstated. Kelly, Taylor, Jen number 1, Jen number 2, Eric, Jed, and many others are simply exceptional. Thank you, Van Pelt. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Manguala. And Vice President Chu, that concludes staff reports for this evening.
Great, thank you so much. So on to item I, approval of consent agenda. Background information on these items are provided to the board prior to the meeting. A common motion takes action without discussion on roll call vote unless discussion of items is requested by a board member. May I get a motion? Great. First by Trustee Jankowicz, second by Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have any public comment?
There is no public comment on consent items.
Great, and I don't believe there are any in the boardroom, so any board discussions? No. All right, so may I have a roll call on this?
Yes.
You
did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Student Board Member Fish Leader,
Aye.
Trustee Shu,
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz,
Aye.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Water.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now at item J, presentations and discussion items. J1, instructional services. J1A, introduction of supplementary online instructional program adoption recommendation for elementary and middle schools.
Good evening, Vice President Chu, Board of Trustees, Dr. Musetti, Student Board Member Fish Leader. I'm happy to be with you this evening to introduce for your consideration a online digital tool that allows students to learn and explore coding and then program robots that they have in their classroom in a very fun and engaging way. They're learning coding and programming robots. So we're introducing that this evening for your consideration. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer, and then it will come back for approval at the September 11th board meeting.
Thank you. Public comments. I don't see any in the boardroom. Are there any online, Mr. Michaels?
There is no public comment on this item.
Discussions by the board? Trustee Martin?
So I saw a picture of it, and it's like 3 spheres that come together. Is there like a console that people type into and it feeds into the robot? And what kind of stuff does the robot do?
It's an app that the students are coding in the app, and then it programs the robot, which is the 3 spheres. And we actually have our principal Montgomery and Jennifer Toke, our lead magnet teacher at Shear. Well, these will be used in the middle school program to come up and answer any additional questions that you might have. Want to come on up? They can describe in better detail how those robots work with coding.
I'd like to take the class.
So
I'm sorry, what was the
my question is like what can it do? Like it's 3 spheres, 3 balls that are put together. Like what can they program it to do? I assume it's nothing unsafe.
No,
right?
nothing unsafe.
So wait.
And it's actually really fun and fabulous, very engaging. I got a chance to learn myself over the summer, so I'm ready to kind of support students in their learning with it. They get to move it forward, stop it, turn. There's some art materials that go with it. They can draw with markers. They can play the xylophone with it. And program it.
So it has arms?
It has attachable arms that can be part of the program. And then, but there's lots of ways that we do plan to use it with our magnet program. So it's really to enhance our career exploration. We have some 8th grade students that have a case study around robotics, a robotic engineer. And so this will fit really nicely into that unit, as well as giving students an opportunity to explore this as a STEM, learning and that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Any other comments or discussion? Well, I can tell you that I have firsthand experience with these robots, the Dash-In Dot robots, because when my older one was in Canyon Oaks, I actually was a coach for his team to compete at the Wonder League. They called it the Wonder League, and it's wonderful. They really designed a curriculum around a lot of the standards for science, and it's just amazing how easily this robot gets, all the programming gets picked up by the students. It's very friendly. So I'm really glad to hear that it's also being expanded elsewhere to the rest of the school district, hopefully. And I hope to hear a little bit about if you guys are going to do the competitions. I would love to see it. At some point, I would love to see that, across schools, because I do know Canyon Oaks has a couple of sets, like classroom sets, and I believe Donaldson Way also has some as well. So really looking forward to your school's use of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and please know that you're always invited to come join us, especially in the role of coach.
Oh, I love it. I actually moved on and coached at the ACMS in a team, not my own kids, but I was just helping out in the classroom also. So great. Thank you. Okay, item J1B, elementary district writing assessment.
Okay, thank you. I'll wait till the slides come up. I'm happy to be here again to present to you our district writing assessment results and some information about the district writing assessment at the elementary level in NVUSD. So I have with me this evening Tracy Weiss, one of our district academic specialists, and Heather Feinberg, who is a 5th grade teacher at Napa Junction, and they will also provide additional insight into the DWA, the district writing assessment in NVUSD. So this work aligns very much with Strategy 1, in particular Goal 1.3, around ensuring that we have equitable access to authentic literacy experiences for students. which certainly includes writing, and very much a part also of Strategy 3. Goal 3.1 is we're building a culture wherein teachers are using data to guide instruction. This is an assessment that can be used to plan writing instruction. And goal 3.2, which is aligning our comprehensive system of assessment, of which this is a part of our comprehensive system that we're building. So our presentation tonight will include an overview of our district writing assessment purpose, why we administer a DWA, what our assessment and scoring process is. I'll share the results of our assessment, the instructional implications, the trends that we see and how we use that data, and then how we're aligning to our curricular resource. So the purpose of the DWA, there's three elements that I'll call out here. First is to assess students in relation to the grade level standards. So in K2, students are writing to two sources, meaning that they're pulling together information from two sources of information and then writing based on those two sources, which is at grade level. And in third through fifth grade, they're writing to three sources. So synthesizing information across three sources and writing about that. So the rigor of the grade level standards is high, and we want to make sure that students and teachers are aware of that, and then preparing students for that grade level rigor. We also are able to then have classroom level, site level, and district-wide data that really helps us understand where are our students in their writing development. We look at trends that we can share back to the school sites that allow teachers, principals to plan instruction and make instructional decisions that will ensure that we're building on strengths and filling in some of the gaps around writing. And then it also is aligned to, again, the rigor of the CASP assessment. And we time, in particular, the third through fifth grade writing assessment to allow enough time for teachers to use the results to prepare and make some instructional decisions that help better prepare students for the CASP assessment. So it's administered in February. So I'm going to pass to Tracy now.
Good evening. So last year, K2 students took an informational explanatory focused DWA. Of the three genres, opinion, narrative, and informational explanatory is selected for K2 because it's such a critical building block for writing, opinion, and narrative pieces. So once students have the skill of pulling out information and writing about it, they can then apply this to writing an opinion piece or writing a narrative that's grounded in that information, that real information. Third and fifth grade students took what is called the CASP interim assessment block that mirrors the type of writing they'll be asked to do at the end of the year on the end of the year CASP assessment. Third and fourth grade students wrote an opinion piece, and fifth grade wrote an informational explanatory piece. For the K2 DWA, we're going to look at a second grade example. These second grade writing standards cover the three writing types: opinion, informational explanatory, and narratives. As I just mentioned, they focused on the second one, informational explanatory. So for the K2 DWA, for part one, students watch a video together, and then they read a text together about sharks this year. Last year, it was about sharks. Then the teacher guides the students to complete a graphic organizer together. And then in part two of this assessment, the students write about what they've learned about sharks so they can help teach other students about it. The rubrics for the K2 DWA come from Tulare County, where they took components of the CASP rubric at the upper grades and brought them down to a K2 level. So we give a content score that encompasses the first three components, so organization and purpose, elaboration of evidence, language and vocabulary, and then a score for conventions. So they're getting 2 total scores. Now for the 3.5 DWA, we'll just look at the third grade. So for third grade, it's the same standards, but with increased complexity. And as a reminder, third and fourth grade focused on opinion, and fifth grade focused on informational explanatory. So how the 3.5 DWA is done is differently than K2. So third graders are writing to 2 sources, and fourth and fifth graders write to 3 sources. The test is also broken into 2 parts. Part 1 of the DWA allows teachers to really familiarize students with the subject matter, sources, and prompt. So teachers read the text to students and do this section together as a class. So they're guiding students through both the sources and the 3 questions. And it really helps to familiarize students with the sources that they're going to have to cite in the independent part 2, and also provides an instructional model as to how to answer these type of questions appropriately. So for part 2 of the 3.5 DWA, it's an independent performance task. So now students do this portion of the test independently as they answer the prompt, cite their sources, and write their response. For the rubrics used for 3.5, they're the CASP rubrics. And so there's the rubrics for all 3 aspects of the assessment. So we have purpose and organization, evidence and elaboration, and conventions. So differently from K2, 3.5 students receive 3 scores for the writing assessment. I am now going to pass back to Director Manning to discuss the results.
Thank you. So the results for the DWA, the score range, there's domains that we're measuring in K2 are content and conventions, and the score range is 1 to 4. And then when we move to 3rd through 5th grade, we're measuring conventions, which is a score range of 0 to 2, and then evidence, elaboration, and purpose and organization, the score range is 1 to 4. So in K2, content covers really everything under evidence, elaboration, purpose, and organization, but we only provide 1 score because we're looking at the K2 writing from a more holistic perspective. And then when we get into the upper grades, 3rd through 5th grade, we are measuring really more specifically those evidence, elaboration, and purpose and organization. So beginning with K2 conventions, we have the scores here. So we're looking at kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade from spring 2024 administration to spring 2025 administration. And then the difference column shows whether there was a gain or a loss in the number of students in the average score over the course of those 2 years. So you'll see that in kindergarten and 2nd grade, there was a slight gain. In 1st grade, a slight drop in convention scores. In K2 content, there was a slight drop in both kindergarten and 1st grade, and then a slight gain in 2nd grade. So really, this is maintaining. These are very nominal gains and losses. We're looking at maintaining. And then in 3rd through 5th grade, conventions, we see that there was a gain in both 3rd and 4th grade, and then a slight loss in 5th grade. 3rd grade a loss in all grades in evidence and elaboration. And when Tracy will talk to you in a moment about the trend data, we really could see that there was a need for students to do more work around elaborating and providing additional evidence, really tying their evidence that they were citing to the writing that they were providing. And then when we get to organization and purpose in 3rd through 5th grade, we had a slight gain in 3rd and 4th grade, and then 5th grade again maintained. So overall, there wasn't a huge difference in any of the scores. So the trends, I'll turn back to Tracy to share the trends.
So as Matt mentioned, for the last 2 years, we centrally score the DWA for both K2 and 3.5. So we get a representative from every single site, and then we carefully go through a calibration process before doing any scoring of our own students' papers. After scoring, we then finish the final day of scoring by spending time together as a group and discussing the overall writing trends that we noticed throughout the scoring process, and to discuss some next instructional steps for each grade level. These teachers leave these days with a better overall sense of how we're doing with our writing with our students, and with some possible next steps. So these trends and next steps are then shared globally with all teachers. For K2 last year, the students were able to really utilize the information from their graphic organizer to support the writing, and they could provide a complete sentence and a sense of closure as well. They also did a nice job with conventions such as letter formation, spacing, and punctuation. For 3.5, students were able to pull evidence from the sources, so they could cite their sources very clearly, but they need more support around connecting their evidence that they pull to really support and enhance their writing. Their writing displayed a strong structure with a topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence, but more work is needed around enhancing and elaborating upon their writing overall. So things like more variety in their sentences and including more engaging topic and concluding sentences as well. I'll pass back to Director Manning to discuss next steps.
So next steps for us in terms of how we will move forward to support improvements in writing. We want those scores to not just maintain, but clearly we want them to go up every year as we administer the DWA. So we are leveraging the writing revolution, and we've had quite a bit of professional learning that we've been providing over the last couple of years, focused on the writing revolution. And what the writing revolution is a collection of strategies that can be applied across all of our grade levels and connected to our core curriculum. So it's not a specific curriculum. Again, it is a collection of strategies that support students in building at the sentence level and then building to strengthen their paragraphs and whole essays. So that approach we have seen some success as we've begun to provide that training and seen the implementation in classrooms. So we will continue to strengthen that professional learning and then bring that more broadly to all of our teachers across the system. This year, what we're doing is taking time to ensure that we're connecting that collection of strategies and that writing approach to our core curricular resource at elementary, which is Benchmark. So we want to make sure that we're still using Benchmark as our core curricular resource. Writing is happening there. Students are learning to write, but we want to enhance that. We need to do more with writing to strengthen student writing. So we'll connect the strategies from the writing revolution to Benchmark and then begin to vertically align those across 3-5 so that we have building writing strength across all of the grades TK through 5. And then we will continue to vertically align and look for students to begin to increase their mastery of writing, building again from the sentence level, not only in the lower grades, but also continuing that focus just to make more complex sentences as they move up through the higher grade levels. And we are also going to pilot a common writing assessment this year in grades 6 through 12. So it's not a complete district writing assessment, but all of the ELA teachers across our district will be administering a common writing assessment to help prepare ultimately for a district writing assessment at the secondary level. Okay, so given the strength and what we've seen happening with the writing revolution, I was excited to invite one of our teachers, Heather Feinberg, to join us this evening because she has been applying what she's learned through the writing revolution, and she's a letters trained teacher. So she's really brought those two pieces together. And when looking at her results at Napa Junction, her students made considerable gains. And at Napa Junction, over the last couple of years, under the leadership first of Principal Montgomery and now Principal Delamater, there has been school-wide approach to implementing the writing revolution. And we're seeing the results there. And so I would love to invite Heather up to share her success. No, you don't need that.
Good evening. This past school year, I integrated the writing revolution into all parts of my curriculum. At Napa Junction, we're a PBL school, so we do a lot of science and social studies integrated into our Benchmark curriculum. My students wrote not only in English language arts, but also in science, math, social studies, and even in their project-based learning. We began the year at the sentence level, identifying fragments and turning them into complete sentences. Then we moved into strategies like because, but, so to expand sentences. From there, students built single paragraph outlines, or SPOs, which we practice weekly. By October, my students were asking me on Monday, what's our SPO going to be this week? Alongside the structural work, I made academic vocabulary a major focus. Students learned how to use precise, subject-specific words in their writing, whether they were explaining a math concept, analyzing a science experiment, or responding to literature. This gave them the language they needed to express complex ideas and clarity with confidence. That excitement for writing translated into growth. Our student cohort scores on CASP ELA assessment went from 33% proficiency to 50% proficiency.
Wow.
And when we look at my students' growth on the DWA itself, we see some progress. In organization and progress, the average score grew from 2 3/10 to 2 9/3, and in evidence and elaboration scores rose from 2 1/10 to 2 6/10. A score of 3 is overall proficient. The DWA is not just another test. It's a tool that shows us how well our learning instruction is working and where we need to go next. Most importantly, it helps us ensure our students are ready to think critically, use academic vocabulary, and communicate clearly across every subject area. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. That concludes our presentation, and we'd be happy to take any questions or comments that you might have.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Very inspiring. Public comments, Mr. Michaels, are there any public comments online?
There's no public comment on this item.
Great. And I don't see any in the boardroom. Discussion from the board members? Trustee Water, of course.
I knew that was coming.
Well, no, I'm delighted it's coming back. And it looks like this looks a lot more intentional than the one that we used to give. It was, I remember being called into a certain curriculum director's office with another English teacher in this sort of mad scramble to come up with a topic. And this sounds a bit more organized. And it's the direction I think we should be going into, because I've always felt that if you can't write clearly, you can't think clearly either. So congratulations. Congratulations to Ms. Feinberg. And I used to work with your father. I know he's very proud of you. And really, I really liked, I like what I'm hearing.
Thank you.
You know, this is a really optimistic meeting. It's almost going against my nature. This is great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I just remember, I think it was 2 years ago when Trustee Water and Trustee Reiser and I were on the curriculum committee, and I think you gave a demonstration to us and we had to do the scoring, and it was so hard because it's not something that we're so used to, like looking at those metrics. But now that we're seeing the results of that work, all that preparation, I think it's the way that we have to do it, do the reassess how we teach and how we assess our students, and to make sure they're meeting the goals. Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, at the end of the day, when they're done scoring all of these paper, I was expecting you to say they're exhausted, because I know I would be. I was wondering, Ms. Feinberg, could you talk more about the reading revolution, and could you describe the program a little bit more? Like, what is it involved? What is the training like? What do you have the students do?
And can I add a question to that since you're up here?
Yeah.
So your process that you use, is that a part of the training out of the writing revolution? Yes. Thank you. So that's consistently taught to all the teachers, or just a core, or you're
So now we're expanding.
So now you're expanding.
So I pilot it.
And does that also teach you how to score the
No,
the
not
test?
necessarily, no.
So
that's like a different task.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there work around how to consistently score? How did
The teachers come together and they calibrate on scoring. So before they engage in scoring on that day of when they come together for 2 days, they calibrate first and look at anchor papers. So the Writing Revolution is the program that we're using. It's the collection of strategies, the approach to writing. It's really an approach to teaching writing that we use across the district, and it's been very much opt-in to this point. And we're seeing such success and so many teachers gravitating towards this model that we are scaling it up across all of our teachers in the district and connecting it to our core curricular resource, which is Benchmark.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, just tell me more about the Writing Revolution. Like, what do you have students doing? How does it work?
So there's a list of like in what order you should be teaching skills of writing. And basically you start the school year with sentence fragments. What's missing, the subject or the predicate. So that's basically what we've been doing this week. Okay. Next week we'll be looking at, I give them a complete sentence. So there's an order of math, order of operations for, you go step by step. So next week we'll do sentence scrambles. And then we'll move into the because, so, but. So taking a basic sentence and adding a because, so, but to expand it, to really work on putting more details into their writing. And then from there, there's a long list. Yeah, and you just kind of progress.
So it makes, like, that's the difference between English and math, is that math is very, like, Math is sometimes easier to teach because there's always a right answer, whereas with writing, it's.
But on the CASP, they have to write in math.
Yeah, I know exactly,
Yeah,
but I've always had a lot of success. Like you can teach grammar, which is very mathematical. There's always a black and white answer, and students like that. There's a right answer. Whereas once you start getting into more complicated writing, it gets kind of fuzzy. Do you know if it's good? That's why having a rubric is so important, right? And that's why calibrating the test to make sure all the students or all the scores are on the same place. So, but I'm telling you what you already know. So.
I have one more question. Yes. Do all teachers then use, you mentioned that you use writing across the curriculum. You use it in science, you use it in math. Do all teachers use writing across the curriculum in elementary? Is that a part of this program that you're piloting and expanding and encouraging them to do so? Is that part of the writing revolution?
Well, I know at my site at Napa Junction, that was our goal as a site, was to incorporate more writing across the curriculum.
Will that be a site goal?
That is, one of the benefits of this approach is that these practices can be applied across all of the content areas. So even in math, students can be using these writing strategies to enhance and build their writing. So we would then connect that not just to our benchmark core curricular resource, but teachers could use that in science. It could be used across all content areas, the strategies. Do you want to add anything?
I just wanted to add that last year we did a 3-part series of training over the year. And what we really worked to do was to just, every example we did from the Writing Revolution was just integrated with our curriculum. So if we're implementing a strategy, we're saying, what unit are you on in benchmark? Let's take the text from there and let's apply it so that they're feeling like they're able to go tomorrow, use it in their classroom and see results.
Know how to apply it to whatever they're doing.
And all the examples we show through benchmark, but also through Bridges, science. I mean, I think that's why it resonates with teachers a lot, because it crosses content areas.
It has application everywhere.
Absolutely. And I think it also resonates especially with our 2nd through 5th grade teachers, because often upper grades, you get students who have some gaps and they have those foundational gaps. And, when you get to the upper grades, it's not really addressed in the curriculum, really, when you have students that have those foundational gaps. And the Writing Revolution goes back to the beginning and really ensures that students have a strong foundation. Because if students can't write a solid sentence, you can't build upon that, right? And once they have that down, you can put that together to create a paragraph, but you have to have the solid sentence structure down.
And then the idea that there's going to be an assessment of some sort at secondary. I'm assuming that the alignment that starts here will correlate to the design of this writing assessment in middle and then high school.
Yes, and speaking of alignment, the Writing Revolution training that we implemented for teachers, we worked with our secondary counterparts, and it was also 6-12. So it was really nice to have a K-12 alignment in the professional development we were providing to teachers. And when they were piloting it, the writing assessment at Redwood last year, they took what we did at 3-5 using the CASP IAB, and they used the same materials. And so it was, it makes sense. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. And especially for those 6th graders, they had seen that in 5th grade. So they're familiar, so it becomes an actual. Right, so it's really a writing assessment, not do I understand how to take this actual test, but a real assessment of their writing.
And so the data that we saw, that is from last year and 2 years ago, it would have been from fall of 23 and fall of 2024. And this is
spring of 24 and spring of 25.
Okay, spring of 24. And so then there are, at this point, are you expecting the same thing like it was for the past 2 years, or are you expecting a lift in this?
We would expect a lift. We would like to see those results increase.
Okay, as a result of the school-wide.
As a result of a more school-wide approach, and again, seeing the success where the Writing Revolution and the strategies are being implemented. As we scale that up, we would expect to see more of an increase in those writing scores.
And so the Writing Revolution is kindergarten through 5th grade,
kindergarten through 5th grade, and we're bringing that we've provided professional learning in grades 6 through 12 as well.
Awesome. Great. And then by the time you're a freshman in high school, they should be writing.
Should be writing really complex, beautiful sentences and paragraphs and essays.
That would make me and Trustee Water happy.
Trustee Water.
I think most of us got a copy of the Writing Revolution. Perhaps Trustee John Henry Martin would like a copy.
I would like it.
Yeah,
We can.
it's a good
provide a
book.
copy.
It's written by, Natalie Wexler?
Yes.
Who wrote The Knowledge Gap.
Yes.
So I wanted to thank you, Executive Director Matt Manning and the team. Thank you for all of your hard work. I know Mr. Manning started out with, the team always does a great job of connecting to our strategic goals and our annual priorities, but I just kind of want to re-ground you as a close to this, is that your annual priority, you set an annual priority as a board in our workshop in June around implementing standards-based instruction with a focus on writing across the curriculum. And I think Ms. Feinberg's example from her classroom and what she described really embodies what that board priority was. So I'm thankful that you're bringing the assessment results. I think our purpose around the presentation was to start to show you that we're doing this to scale at elementary, piloting at secondary. I think we've been talking about this for several years, and you see how formalized and official it has become, more organized, Trustee Water, as you said. And I just want to explicitly remind you that, the evidence that's being generated here in the boardroom tonight is that annual priority, coming alive. And then just, I don't want to put you on the spot, Ms. Feinberg, but I've been in your classroom and I know you. I think you're going to be open to it. One of our governance initiatives is, again, trying to get the school board to engage more directly with the initiatives that are out in the field as they make decisions here at the dais, is we are looking at doing deep dives where I can take a couple of board members to kind of see these things in action, as opposed to just they do a great job, but like hearing your narrative as a teacher enhances, I think, our perspective tremendously. But to take it a step further is to take a couple of board members to see it live in action, so they can make the connection between the decisions they make here in the boardroom, this priority that they've set, and what it actually looks like in the field. Not to evaluate whether you're doing it fantastic or not, although it sounds like you're doing an amazing job, but more for their own learning, to just kind of see it in real time. So I'm thinking that this might be a good deep dive for some of our board members to come see and report back on what they learned. So
Absolutely. My door's always open.
I'm hearing an open invitation?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And
so-
fifth graders love to share. So.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much
They
for coming
do.
tonight, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation and discussion. Okay, we are at item K, action items. Item K1, facilities improvement. K1A, purchase of furnishings for the Vintage Agricultural Science Technology Innovation Center. May I get a motion? First by Trustee Jenkowitz, second by Trustee Martin. Any public comments, Mr. Michaels?
There is no public comment on this item.
Great. And this is a regular vote, so all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Item K2, Human Resources. K2A, request to hire educator less than fully credentialed. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, first by Trustee Jenkowitz, second by Trustee Martin. Any public comments, Mr. Michaels, online?
There is no public comment on this item.
Great, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? None, seeing none, motion passes. Item K3, Instructional Services, K3A, 2025-26 School Plan for Student Achievement, SIPSA Addendum. Motion? So moved? Okay. First by Trustee Jenkowitz, second by Trustee Martin. Any public comment, Mr. Michaels?
There is no public comment on this item.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion passes. Item K3B, agreement with Big Minds Incorporated. May I get a motion?
So moved.
First by Trustee Jenkowitz, second by Trustee Martin. All in favor? Oh, sorry, public comment. Mr. Michaels, are there any public comments online?
There are no public comments on this item.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Item K3C, agreement with Barbara Franco. Motion, may I get a motion?
Second.
Okay, first by trustee Jankowicz, second by trustee Martin. Any public comments, Mr. Michaels?
There is no public comment on this item.
Great. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. All right, now we are on to item L, informational. L1, general services. Actually, we've had no committee meetings, so no reports on any of those. L2, business services. L2A, warrant register for accounts payable, checks issued by NVUSD. Any public comments, Mr. Michaels?
There are no public comments on this item.
Okay. Any comments or discussion items from the board? None? Great. All right, that brings us to item M, additional suggestions and comments from board members and superintendent.
Yes, I am incredibly excited about the NVUSD instructional model, and I was wondering if for a future board meeting we could have more information about that. I just want to learn more about it and see how it came about and what it looks like when it's implemented.
So I think that will go under item N, future agenda items.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. But that is a nice suggestion. So we will move that to the next item. Any other comments or suggestions from Dr. Massetti?
I do have a comment. Vice President Chu, you've done an extraordinary job this evening, and you're a natural. So
thank
good
you.
job presiding over tonight's meeting.
A little nervous, a little nerve-wracking, but okay. Okay, item N, future agenda item.
More information about the NVUSD instructional model.
So I've noted that on our future agenda log. Yes, gotcha.
Any other suggestions for future agenda items? None. All right, so we are now at item O, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
First by trustee Martin, second by trustee Jankowicz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain? Nope. All right, thank you.